This is the biggest, most important decision of the year, as this decision will literally change everything and affect the course of this year, the future, and as you guys know how much, or I know how much you love when I say it, could have major implications. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to another Andrew Talks for a Long Time, and I hope you guys listen podcast. The the Padres podcast, the pod. I wonder if anyone's ever copyrighted pod. Who knows? But yeah, today we're going to talk about, like I've mentioned before, do we buy or do we sell? To buy or to sell, the most important decision we could make. Or by we, I mean AJ, because it's not my job. So I have a lot of stuff to go over, as always, so it doesn't matter how long this video takes. It's just for you guys to listen, relax, chill, drive to work, do whatever you want. Go on a dog walk is usually when I listen to podcasts and stuff, because my dogs are a pain and need to walk constantly. But they're cute, and that's all that matters. But yeah, Padres deadline is here. I don't know why I'm scrumpling that up. I gotta touch stuff. I'm a little fidgeter. I can't help it. I have issues. Everyone knows this by now. But yeah, Padres. Back to the top important topic on hand. San Diego Padres are actively pursuing upgrades ahead of the MLB trade deadline, particularly eyeing outfielders, starting pitching, and bullpen help. Among the rumored trades, the Athletics' Jim Bowden proposed a blank. Don't want to press the article because I don't like paying for things when I don't have to. But I have a lot of quotes. I have a lot of, we're going to focus on, well, not focus, but we're going to talk about an AJ Cassavell article about what the Padres need. It's like these 5 breakdown thingies. That should be super helpful to go over, but let's just start with that. Firstly, we're going to do a Valentina Martinez Sports Illustrated article. Typically, the MLB trade deadline is a time when a team decides whether to be buyers or sellers as they prepare for the postseason or look to the future. More news, Padres predicted to land $15 million Gold Glove utility man in trade deadline move. The San Diego Padres are looking to do both this summer, according to the San Diego Union Tribune's Kevin Acee. As the trade deadline approaches, those familiar with some of the team's talk say the Padres are inclined to rely on President of Baseball Operations AJ Preller's creativity versus throwing money at their offense problem, Acee writes. So, hello, Dylan Cease. It looks like the big common thread amongst the entire fan base is not just buying or just selling, a mix of both, which is interesting, right? It's super risky. So today's the 27th. I just recorded this after we beat the Cardinals 9-2 and tied the series, or split the series, I should say. So buying and selling, obviously, massive risk, right? So buy to sell, for example, and I'll talk about this more in other articles I have, but say we sell Cease to get us prospects, and we use those prospects in turn to get another pitcher or a bat or something, but we sell assets to earn assets, to buy assets. You know, like basic economic 101 concepts. But, of course, if you sell a player and you're not able to buy before the deadline closes, that sucks. That's awful. That's horrible. That's gonna put a little dent in our season. Because I've shown this before, but if we trade Cease right now, until King gets back, we're pretty shallow in the pitching department. Because, like, our rotation's basically going to be Nick Pivetta, Yu Darvish, and then Bergert, Kolek, and Vasquez. Well, not in that order specifically, but we're going to be pretty small until King gets back. And it was announced the starters for the Mets series tomorrow, so Monday. It's going to be Cease, and then they don't know. Which is concerning because Darvish is technically back. So if you don't know when Darvish is going to pitch, is there something wrong with Darvish again? Because that would suck. I know he hasn't been playing that great, but like if he's not 100% injury-wise, like basically that's going to mean we can't sell Cease because then we're just short on pitching. And yeah, we do have Waldron. Yeah, we do have Kyle Hart. But like last time Waldron pitched for us, it was pretty not great. And Kyle Hart has looked better as a reliever than a starter. So a lot of concerns, right? Normal baseball Padre drama concerns, but legitimate concerns. Let's move on to more articles before I bore y'all with my rambling. So this is the AJ Cassavell article where he just goes into what the Padres need and all that jazz. So firstly, he says the Padres need multiple bats. The Padres, this is summarized, by the way, through ChatGPT, because I don't want to read the entire thing, just FYI. Multiple bats are needed. The Padres need at least 2 bats, ideally a DH and a bench/pinch hitter, but are open to upgrades at any position. Gavin Sheets in left field and the Maldonado/Diaz catching tandem are serviceable, but not ideal, so there's flexibility in where reinforcements come. So yeah, I just dropped, it should be out by now, but I just dropped the Rays trade possible targets, and like looking at someone like Brandon Lau, who yes can play outfield but hasn't in years, or Yandy Diaz, who's like a first baseman DH type. So it's not that we need specifically a catcher or specifically a left fielder. We just need people who can hit, to be honest, because like we have an open DH slot, and it would be better obviously to get a true left fielder to play for Sheets and make Sheets full-time DH. But with Sheets' flexibility as a left fielder, there's tons of like potential things you could do, right? I mean, Crone can play first base. Not that I want him to play first base because has better value at a second base position because he's good at defense, right? But if we do get Brandon Lowe, maybe putting him at second, Arraez as DH, and Cronenworth as first is a possibility. But again, Lowe could also just DH because it's not like he's a good fielder. But we talked about that already in that video, so watch that video if you haven't. But there's tons of possible options with the bench and the DH spot. And we don't even have to spend that much, right? And I do have the top 10 prospects on a slide. I'll show you that eventually. But we can make things happen without breaking the bank. And the prospect bank, I could call it too. So all AJ got to do is get creative, which is like his specialty. So I have full faith in AJ Preller for that. Next, though, from the article, waiting has already cost the Padres. Recent late game losses, e.g. against Miami, highlight how the bottom of the lineup lacks punch, especially positions 8 and 9. Lack of depth already cost them wins. Having added offensive help earlier might have flipped those results. So yeah, we've seen 8 or 9 get a little bit better with the small ball approach we did this series against the Cardinals. So that's cool. But I don't think... Well, I think small ball is good. I like it. I don't know if that's something that's going to hold out for the rest of the season and maybe last in the playoffs. I don't know. It might be. But I feel like the true problems is more just consistency because we are getting hits. Like this series showed us that we can hit the ball. We just can't score the ball, which is why the suicide squeezes have been great for us. But I don't know how viable option it is to just purely rely on suicide squeezes. Like at some point, we got to start hitting home runs, even doubles. Just got to slug up in general. Like Machado is carrying the offense slug-wise. Tatis isn't as much anymore. Sheets isn't as much anymore. Bogaerts has been low-key hitting home runs, so maybe his slug we can rely on a little bit, but he's not really that much of a slugger ever, you know what I mean, in any kind of history. So yeah, I mean, if we are to add a bench bat, we should do it now, but we hopefully want someone who can slug. So yeah, we've had plenty of videos of people who can slug. I mean, Luis Robert Jr. is really good against lefties. Taylor Ward has slug, not a great average, but has slug. Duran, I don't know how his slug is, but even the Orioles, like O'Hearn, I think he has pretty good slug. O'Hearn, I can speak. But yeah, there's plenty of bats out there. We just gotta peruse a little bit, you know what I mean? And then moving on, 3, there's a reason the market has moved slowly. Many teams are still in contention, so few clear sellers have emerged, making trades harder to complete. Padres have holes, but as the field separates, bats may become more available at fairer prices. So it's what? Sunday, 27th. Deadline is Thursday the 31st at like 3 Eastern, I think, or 12 Eastern. I forget exactly when. But there's a lot of teams out there that are still technically in the race. I mean, you could say the Giants are. They added Devers, which hasn't really worked out great for them, which I don't know if it's entirely Devers' fault or it's just the Bob Melvin effect that we all know we all know too well. English is hard. We all know so well. I forgot what I was trying to say at that point. My brain's a little fried right now. I'm sorry. It's hot right now. You're going to see me sweating because I recorded in my garage. There's no air conditioning. It is like 90 degrees outside. It's hot. I can't imagine what it's like in St. Louis when it's all humid and disgusting. One thing I noticed, off topic, Like, the Padres jerseys are so, like, I don't know how to describe it, like, non-weather resistant, because, like, their jerseys, like, are tan, but they turn, like, dark to, like, almost brown with the amount of sweat on those jerseys. And it's like, it's not like gross or anything. It's just weird to me to think about. Like, I feel like Nike should make a more, what's the word, like a lighter fabric, maybe, to make it like more breathable. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just an observation I had. But what was I saying? What was I saying? Hold on. What slide are we on? The reason the market has slowed. But yeah, there's a lot of teams out there that are still technically in it. I mean, you could say the Cardinals still in it. The Diamondbacks, well, they're selling, so I don't think they're gonna be in it. But there's teams out there that are still good, like the Royals. We talked about the Royals recently. They're still technically in it, so I don't know if they're trading or not. So this series is first of all, the reason or the result of us splitting this series has been big because we're still technically in the, because obviously we're in the third wildcard spot, so we're still in the bye territory. I feel like if we lose this wildcard spot before the deadline, like if we lose every single game leading up to the deadline, then you might want to sell. But I still think we have a very good chance of at least making the playoffs. I don't think we're winning the division, but I think there's a good chance that we can make a pretty decent run into the playoffs with this roster. Even just how it is right now, we have a good chance. But obviously, we need moves, right? We need moves. We've seen this team play at its peak at the beginning of the year, but we've held out hope for that reality that's not happening. So sometimes it's okay to ask for help. Life lessons and baseball lessons with Andrew. Let's just move on to our next thing. For a fifth horseman, Padres bullpen is a strength. We're number 1 in the league right now, I'm pretty sure. Like a 3.20, I think it was, ERA. Led by the 4 horsemen, Morejon, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez. Still, Preller may add another reliever, believing no bullpen is too deep for a playoff run, which I agree with. But the only thing I'd really want to add is a lefty, because we have so many righties in the major league roster and the minor roster. And I've made a butt ton of videos about left-handed relievers, but the only one we really need is a lefty because Yuki is pretty poor right now. Wandy Peralta is doing pretty good, to be honest. He's improved. He's impressed, but I don't know if he's your guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I trust him to like close or like do what Yuki or Morejon does, like close out any situation. I don't think Yuki has that skill, but he's still reliable enough, right? But it'd be nice to have like a low 3, mid 2 ERA type reliever with some speed or something. I don't really care as long as they're good, right? That's all that really matters to me. But I wouldn't hate getting a bullpen arm. It should not be a priority. It should be like number 10 on our list of holes we have to fill. But if the right move is there, why not, right? Why not just add something? What's the worst that could happen, right? We miss out on all the other good bats. I don't know. Ooh, sorry, water break. So that's 4. What are we on? 5 now? 5, I can count. Buying and selling. So we've pretty much touched on this a lot, and we'll touch on it more. But buying and selling. Oops, sorry, knocked my mic. Padres may trade from the MLB roster to offset payroll and new deals. Players like Cease, Arraez, and Suarez are expensive and ending free agents. They are key contributors, meaning any deal involving them is complicated. Limited prospect capital makes it harder to move big contracts without attaching future talent. So yeah, buying and selling is going to be the most interesting aspect of this offseason. And I want to show you this too. I kind of touched on it right now, but it's a tweet from Skyline619. I don't know who they are, but they're Padres in the title, so they must be Padre fans. If Padres go back to 500 or near it by the trade deadline, then buy, but mostly sell your impending free agents. Might as well get a jump start on 2026 then. So this guy is full on like sell out of the buy and sell option. Like if we're not good enough to sell, which is obviously a reasonable take, right? But this other person, Brain, the old Padre from Twitter, X, whatever. With 4 days left until the trade deadline, I'm worried the Padres won't make a move. They will stay where they started at 18-3. Oh, they will say they started 18-3 when having the ability to complete, as in King is back. This is a mistake. They need to go for it. Trade big names next year. If not, it's now or never IMO. My brain turned off mid-tweet, but basically he's saying just go for it. We started off good. We can be good. Just go for it. But yeah, so 2 kind of differing takes, but relatively the same idea. But let's read this AJ Cassavell article, different article. One issue the Padres face is the salary they'll be taking on in any deal. They prefer to limit that number, which leaves open the possibility they'd look to trade from their current big league roster in addition to adding to it. But where? That's trickier than it seems. Dylan Cease, Luis Arraez, and Suarez are all in their final seasons before free agency, making at least $10 million, but they all play important roles on the current team. And with Cease and Arraez at least, the Padres would be selling low on two obviously talented players. Cronenworth is a relatively high earner, but also plays an integral role in the bullpen. Integral role, period. In the bullpen, the Padres couldn't move off of Wandy Peralta and or Yuki Matsu without also giving up prospect capital to do so. And the Padres' prospect capital compared to past deadlines isn't as strong as it's been. All of this illustrates the tricky nature of this year's deadline for Preller and the Padres. They need to make additions, but they don't have much wiggle room to do so. This is a roster with a World Series caliber ceiling. How does it reach that ceiling? The next week will have to go a long way. No one's gonna say it's not a difficult deadline. It's gonna be probably one of the biggest, most important deadlines ever, maybe in Padres history. I don't know. I don't remember, like 1998. I wasn't even born, so take what I say about that for a grain of salt. But at least as long as I've been alive, this could probably be the biggest trade deadline. I mean, last year was too, but like we were still, well, no. I was gonna say we were a good team last year, but I feel like we were better, like record-wise this year than we were last year at the trade deadline. So I don't know. We were hot out of the All-Star game last year, so maybe I can't say that we were in a better position, but whatever. That doesn't matter. My point being, this is an important deadline, and I don't think anyone is arguing with that. So like we said, our sell options, I have some listed here. Luis Arraez is going to be a free agent. Dylan Cease is going to be a free agent. Michael King going to be a free agent. You can trade him. He is injured, so a team that would trade for him wouldn't get him until like late August. So I don't know if that's an option teams would want to do. Suarez, he's an option to trade. Jake Cronenworth, who I don't want to trade, but people want to get rid of his contract, and I don't blame them for that, but I think Jake Cronenworth is a plus player on this team. And another option that we could sell, not that we should, but we could, Jason Adam. He has, I think, 1 year left for arbitration on him. So we have him like for 1 year of control. I think it was 1 year. I had it brought up somewhere, but I accidentally deleted it. But yeah, these are possible names we could sell. Not that I want to sell. I'd be okay with selling Arraez. Not that I hate Arraez. I just think that for what we need on his team, which is like slug, especially at the first base position, I'd be okay with getting I don't want to say getting rid of because it sounds mean, but giving him away to a needier team that could give us a good return would be fine with me. Dylan Cease too, but I think Dylan Cease brings more value because I do believe that Dylan Cease is going to turn around in the second half. I feel like hopefully tomorrow, and for you guys today, he'll pitch good against the Mets, who are obviously very, very good. Very, very good. But yeah, I don't want to hurt our bullpen too much by trading away Suarez. Yeah, I know Suarez hasn't been... I mean, he's been good recently. Like I mentioned this a couple of videos ago, but he's been good recently. But I don't know if I want to shake up our bullpen by just giving away our best closer. I mean, I'm sure Jason Adam could do a fine job at closing position, but like, I don't want to just hurt our bullpen. You know what I mean? Unless Suarez gets us like a good return, like a solid DH or a solid bench bat and maybe a prospect or two. But I think we should just leave our bullpen alone unless we're going to add like a lefty. But again, like I said, lefty should not be a high priority for us. IMO at least. But let's move on. So this is, so I had ChatGPT do some payroll mathematics for me. I don't know how accurate it is, to be honest, because I had to like fight with ChatGPT to get me like the correct numbers. But the 2025 payroll by their estimate is at around $181,146,637. On the website, it said their payroll was at $211 million. So I don't know if that included the minor league rosters. But after 2025, Arraez is going to come off the books with $14 million. Dylan Cease with $8 million. Michael King with almost $8 million. Jose Iglesias with $1,500,000. Maldonado with $1 million. So $33 million off that. And then Eric Hosmer's off the books, I think, next year. And he has about $13 million. I don't know why it says Hasang. I think it was a buyout for the options. So $5 million off of that. Connor Joe, who will owe money to because we bought him out, I'm pretty sure. So that's $17 million. And then combine off the books, total stuff. So total subtracted UFAs and buyouts, should be $51 million saved, which if we did the math, which I didn't, I had ChatGPT do it, that would mean our payroll from 2026 would be at $130 million. Obviously, this is completely before arbitration and other rookie deals and stuff. So we'll say 150 million will be our payroll before free agency next year. Again, I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but I just want to give you an idea of what we could be looking at for next year. So I think we'll definitely have more options for free agency next year, but we'll focus on that after we win the World Series. Knock on wood. My table is made of plastic. Where's the nearest wood object? Oh, this desk is made of wood. Hope my dogs didn't bark after they heard that. But yeah, that's just some math. I hate math. I'm not going to do the math myself. If you guys want to do it and do it in the comment section, please feel free. I hate mathematics. Even though I like stats, which is weird. Like I like looking at stats for like baseball players. But like if you give me a word problem, like even if it's the most basic word problem humanly possible, bro, I was like, I just can't. Well, obviously, it's like if Susie has 2 apples and Mike has 2 apples, how many apples does that make? Obviously, I can do that. But like, I just hate, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just don't give me math problems. I hate it. Worst subject in the world. And then last quote. This is from Yahoo Sports from Nick Radoshevich. Padres are a team that is good enough to make the playoffs on paper, but the combination of several roster holes and being in a tough wildcard race means that San Diego needs to get bold. MLB insider analyst John Morosi explained that the Padres are a team that could both sell and buy at the trade deadline. Padres are open-minded to buy and sell, said Morosi. Perhaps you trade Dylan Cease, who has an expiring contract, to replenish some of your minor league depth, and then use that prospect depth to go out there and make a package for Sandy Alcantara. Steven Kwan is a possibility. I think they are more buyer than seller, but if you sell Dylan Cease and bring back some prospects, you're able to strengthen your roster for the long term. So this one gives the impression that we should sell, even if we're not buying at all. I feel like they're saying we should sell because if we do sell, at least we'll get prospects back. So I just think me personally at least, I don't think you should think of selling unless it's the buy. Like, I feel like selling should be outside of your brain. And yes, I know Dylan Cease is a free agent next year. I know if we don't trade him, we're basically getting nothing back. If we do, and I assume we will offer him that qualifying offer, we'll at least get a trade or a draft pick if he leaves somewhere else, which he probably will. But again, when you risk a pitcher of his caliber, yes, I know he didn't play good in the playoffs. Yes, I know he hasn't pitched good this year, but he's still, like, we've seen the numbers. He's a good pitcher playing bad, and that's been like that all year. And a lot of reporters, a lot of really smart Twitter pages have talked about that Dylan Cease is definitely due for incline in skill and stat increasing. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I think selling should be outside of our head. I think the only reason, like I said, I think the only reason we should think sell is to buy, pretty much, right? I don't want to empty the farm, but we have farm to empty. I mean, including Salas. I'm okay, honestly, with giving away Salas if it's for like the right player, right? I don't want to like throw him away, but if it gets us a really good player of control, like a Ben Rice, not that the Yankees need a catcher, but if we give him we got like Ben Rice from them, that'd be cool. There's people out there, or I don't know if I wouldn't do it for Luis Robert Jr. I wouldn't do it for Duran. I mean, technically the Red Sox already said no to that, but I think that report was bogus, to be honest. But that's a whole nother discussion we can talk about maybe later. But yeah, I mean, we do have prospects, like I said, the top 10 prospects. I'd be okay, out of all these people, I'd be okay with losing. That being said, I'm not preface by saying this. I don't know a lot about our prospects. Like, I know the biggest prospects, but I don't really follow the Padres minor league system that much. So, like, I know the name Brandon Nett. I know he's pretty good. Obviously, I know Salas and Arraez. I know B-Rod because we saw him pitch a little bit. I know Bergert, obviously. But everyone else, I'm not really too familiar with. Bateman, Mayfield, Mendez, Hightower. Like, I know the names. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with their game, so I don't know how expendable they are, but we live under an AJ Preller regime. Like, we have to get used to losing prospects. That's just the reality of it. So I just don't get too attached to anybody besides like DeVry, because we know how good he can be. But yeah, I'm okay with parting with these players for the right package. I don't know what I don't know. We made a ton of videos, so I'll let you guys decide who you want. But I don't want to talk about possible trades too much because we've done plenty of that, so many of that. But lastly, I promised this from a post. I don't know, like last Monday or whatever. But I had you guys tell me if you wanted to sell, if you wanted to buy, and just give me your opinion. So I chose 4 of them from you guys. So shout out to these people. If I mispronounce your name, I'm so sorry in advance. But first, Lenny Molnar 3283. I would go ahead and get rid of all the contracts that are going to expire, get some good young players. Next year, you'll have a ton of cash to spend for good free agents, get a new GM. Padres will not make the World Series this year. You will be down 2 starting pitchers, a relief ace, and a first baseman if you do nothing. Padres are not consistent enough to even make the playoffs. So definitely not a positive take, is what we're understanding from this. I'll start with this. I'm team AJ Preller, right? I think AJ Preller, and again, I'm kind of on the younger side depending on who you ask, so I don't know if I can make this claim, but I think AJ Preller is the best GM we've ever had in the history of the Padres. He, and the help of Peter Seidler, made the Padres relevant again. And I know AJ Preller's made bad moves. I know he's made really good moves. Maybe more bad than good, but I don't know. I mean, first of all, AJ Preller makes off seasons and trade deadlines fun, which like other teams, like, I don't know, the Pirates or something, like they don't do anything. And like, it just makes fans not care, right? But AJ Preller, you never know what he's going to do. And it makes things like that fun. You know what I mean? That's the first reason I like AJ. But also, AJ has just been here so long, like since what, 2014? I don't want anyone else, to, in my opinion. Like, I'm attached at the heart to AJ Preller. I will forgive a few moves. I mean, at this point, I think the only reason we should fire him is if we fire Mike Shildt. Because at that point, it's just like, okay, let's just start over. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm okay with AJ Preller. I know he's had his faults, but who hasn't had his faults on this team, to be honest? But yeah, will not make the Padres. The Padres will not make the World Series this year. Things happen. I mean, the D-backs made the World Series last year or 2 years ago, and they went on an insane run. Records don't mean anything in the playoffs. They don't mean anything. I know the Yankees and Dodgers just made the World Series last year, the best records in baseball. But, I mean, the Dodgers have been the best team in baseball for like 10 years, and they've made it what? Well, made it a lot, but won what? 1.5? You know what I mean? So, yes, I said a half. So, we're in the 3rd wildcard spot. Let's not completely doom on that. Yes, it's been a rough patch for us this year, at least. But we're in a good spot. To be honest, we're not in a horrible spot. We're not in a great spot. We're in a fine spot. You'll be down 2 starting pitchers. Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong about losing players. But yeah, Padres are definitely not consistent, but I think we are consistent enough to make the playoffs. I think we have enough heart to make the playoffs. Let's put it that way. This next comment from Desmond Clune 5356. I say we buy and sell. Trade Cease and Robert Suarez, take advantage of their value, then buy by getting a combination of either a reliever, starter, catcher, left field, and a bench bat. Not all of these, but just a combination of any of these. So Robert Suarez would probably have the most value out of people we can sell, and I'm including Luis Arraez. I just think the catcher market is, or the closer market is always so expensive. People overpay for closers all the time, I'm pretty sure. I feel like at least, but yeah, like I said, it depends on what we get back. Like if we're getting trash back, absolutely not. But if like we can get like a solid catcher, like again Ben Rice or I don't know, Sean Murphy, I guess he's kind of expensive. I don't know how much I want him, but he's good, right? But yeah, buy to sell or sell to buy. I'm okay with that. I like Desmond's take. A lot of people on YouTube told me to use his take, so I used it. Shout out to Desmond Clune, 5356. Justin G5C6L, 100% buy and get a catcher and another bat or 2. Only sell Cease, but do not if the package isn't good enough. I would love a guy like Taylor Ward, Adolis Garcia, or Kyle Stowers. I feel like Quan would be like another Arraez in the lineup, and Duran would be too much, and he does not have much pop this year. So yeah, selling Cease is like the common opinion of Padre fans. Again, I'm anti-selling Cease unless it's a great package, so take with that as you will. But yeah, I mean, I like Taylor Ward. I'm not a big fan of Adolis Garcia, but if we get him, I'm not going to cry about it. Kyle Stowers, same thing. He's going to be super expensive, but I just don't know how proven Kyle Stowers is. I mean, obviously he's playing really good this year, but like, is that something that's gonna like translate for like the rest of his contract? I don't know, but I wouldn't hate it. Quan, I do like. I know you said is another Arraez. I wouldn't call him another Arraez. I think he's better than Arraez, to be honest. Yeah, Arraez can have more average, but Quan has a little bit more pop, and I like pop. And obviously, Quan's a much better defender. So take with that as you will. Ooh, sorry, water break. I never realized how much talking just hurts my throat, because it's technically the third video I've recorded right now. So my throat is going to be dead tomorrow. Last one, Sir Will, Booyaka, Booyaka, 619. I added the Booyaka, Booyaka. Every time I see 619, I gotta add the Booyaka. Booyaka, Booyaka, 619. I miss Rey Mysterio. I don't watch wrestling anymore, and I know he's still wrestling, but when I cared about wrestling, I miss Rey Mysterio. I like Dominic, though. He seems cool. I know he's kind of a jerk, but that's his character. And I've seen like TikToks of like podcast clips of him. I know it's completely irrelevant, but hey, San Diego Padres, San Diego Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. It's San Diego enough. Okay, but sorry, Sir Will 619 Booyaka Booyaka. Buy and sell only if that position can be filled with adequate substitutes. Yeah, so everyone has, like, again, this same relative takes besides the first one, which is more negative, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and the only one who can make these decisions is AJ Preller and maybe John Seidler. There's a video I saw, and I feel like Christian might be doing a video on it. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it was about how the new ownership might be handcuffing Preller with a lack of funds. Like, you know how Peter Seidler just threw money at everybody, and yes, that was cool for us, but it also kind of hurt us. But like now John Seidler is kind of like, hey, let's be careful with the money. Not that I disagree, but like, I don't know. I like signing really big players. It was exciting, you know what I mean? But yeah, basically the video was, is he handcuffing AJ Preller? And apparently, I think Manny Machado liked the video on Instagram or something, and now he deactivated his Instagram. So drama alert, who knows? But yeah, I don't know if I'd say it, to be honest. Honestly, I feel like AJ Preller does a good job when he's handcuffed. Because I feel like if you give him the power to just do whatever he wants, he'll just throw money at things and expect it to work. But now that AJ Preller actually has to do his homework, not that he doesn't do his homework, but you know what I mean? Now he has to like try. It's like when you move out from your parents' house, and now you got to start paying rent and your phone bill and internet bill and all that. It's like AJ Preller got kicked out of his parents' house, and now he has to fend for himself. That's kind of what it's like. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it certainly is a thing. Let's put it that way. But yeah, that's kind of the reactions from people today. So let's just conclude with our final thoughts. Whew. I'm out of breath. So I've kind of already said my final thoughts, so I'll make it quick. But buy to sell. I'm leaning towards more buy than sell, but 100% if we can sell someone to get a good package in return, great, right? But I genuinely think the worst thing we could do right now is nothing. I don't think nothing is going to kill us. Like, if we do nothing, it's not going to, like, kill our team. But I think it's just irresponsible to not just the team, but the fans to do nothing. Like, we come out every night, sell out tickets to, like, see the players perform and put out the best team possible. And you're not really doing that unless you're trying to improve the team. Because our coaching staff, our star players, our everything can only do so much. Sometimes, like I said, it's okay to ask for help. And I think AJ Preller's got to start calling people. Not that he isn't, but he's got to start making moves and calling for help, because Padres need some help. Not desperately, but it'd be nice. Like, I don't need the air conditioning in my car. I can open the windows, but I'll feel a lot better if my AC works. Also, I just saw in California, apparently, if you're low income enough and your air conditioning's broke, California will pay to fix your car's air conditioning. So if that's you, and it's actually me, to be honest, which is why I looked at it, maybe look into that. But yeah, final thoughts, like I said, just do something. Do anything, to be honest. I mean, at this point, any bat will suffice for us as long as it's a good slugging bat. Like, don't get some trash. Like, don't pick up, like, I was gonna say Connor Joe, but that's mean. Average, don't pick up average Joe or don't bring back Johnny Manziel from the trade. If you remember when we drafted Johnny Manziel, just get someone solid, get someone consistent, get someone who isn't huge but is recognizable enough that he'll make an impact on this team. We don't like. I'm not asking for a lot, AJ Preller. Like, I'm not asking you to change the whole dynamic of the team, but like something, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about all this. Are you team buy? Are you team sell? Are you team both? Let me know in the comments who you'd want to trade for. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Thinking of something else if I'm forgetting something. I don't think so. Good 35-minute podcast for you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. We're so close to 2,000. That would make me very happy. Getting 2,000 before the trade deadline would be a fantastic thing for me. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Hope your drive to work is going great. Make sure you drive safely. Double check your seatbelt is buckled. Drink tons of water because drinking water is good for you. I watched a video on TikTok about a gym bro saying that water is not good for you because it doesn't have protein and everything in it. And Dr. Mike, if you don't know who that is, was roasting the heck out of him. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Okay, no more tangents. I'm sorry. You can go home now, or you can stop listening now. Goodbye. Please subscribe. Go Padres. Goodbye.